Hey guys, meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this Sunday mountain weather update. All right, my first stop is up to Big Sky, where we've got a little bit of light residual snow happening up there this morning. Temps are well below zero. Let me take you down to Colorado. Steamboat reporting about 5 inches of new snow in the last 24 hours. I believe that puts you at about 15 over the last 36 to 48 hours up there. So great day of skiing. Into Utah, 5, 6, 7 inches of new snow in the last 24 hours. That's Solitude. That storm has cleared. I mean, that's got to be 15 to 20 inches in the last 36 to 48 hours up there. All right, let me take you into my bullet points here this morning. So we've got an active flow with big totals still in my forecast between 213 and 217, though there's going to be at least one large storm system that comes through, if not a couple of different smaller fronts mixed in as well. Now, the track of this storm system has wobbled from north to south. At times yesterday, it looked like it would be a little further north, looked like it would be a little further south. We're kind of back to that more southern track here this morning. And what's going to happen is all the energy that's hitting the west is going to be shuttled all the way to the east, and we're going to see storm after storm with a loaded pattern through the Midwest, East Coast, and the Northeast. So quite a bit of snow in the west, quite a bit of snow in my Northeast forecast. Here are my best odds of snow, my snow timeline. And there's a lot on this. I'm going to take my camera off here so you can see what the dates are for Big Sky, the Wasatch, Tetons, Colorado, interior BC, the Pacific Northwest, Tahoe, and the Northeast. So there's a little bit of light residual snow this morning in a few different locations, but really now it's a waiting game for this next storm cycle that comes in. For example, in Big Sky, the afternoon of 213 through 215, and then 216 through 218. In the Wasatch, afternoon, evening 213 through 215, heavy accumulations in the Wasatch. Tetons, afternoon 213 through 215, moderate to heavy, and then heavy 216, 217. In Colorado, we could see some pretty good bullseyes in parts of western and southwest Colorado, and a lot of that happens between 211, 212, and 214 and 215. Interior BC, things get better very late in the period, but man, it is going to be a pretty long dry stretch of just waiting. Pacific Northwest, again, a long wait before we get to that potential time frame with the next storm cycle. And Tahoe, you can see there's a couple different chances for heavy snow accumulation in the forecast. And in the Northeast, man, it's storm after storm all the way through the time period. All right, drilling down into Alta, Utah. This is the forecast mediagram, effective about 9,000 feet. So the storm is essentially cleared. The rest of today, decreasing clouds. Should be a beautiful day of skiing up there. Air temps start in the single digits and rise into the teens this afternoon. The wind also settles down. Monday looks good. High temps on Monday, about 18, 19 degrees. On the 11th, it's a little bit colder, and then it turns even colder on the 12th. Then we have to start looking for the next storm cycle, but it's not quite showing up here on this model as of yet. So a couple of pretty nice days of skiing ahead for Alta. All right, let's go up to that Wyoming corridor up around Jenny Lake. So this is effective about 86, 8,700 feet. On this model, this is Sunday, February 9th. This has a little bit of residual snow this morning, but I mean, we're talking half an inch to an inch, maybe inch and a half, very high up in the Tetons there. And some of the winds are still 25 to 30 today. Air temps are running pretty darn cold. It's single digits, zero, below zero to about 7 for the high. Very similar tomorrow, very similar on Tuesday. So pretty cold stretch. And again, it's really just a waiting game because the storm cycle comes in just beyond the frame, just beyond the forecast of this particular model. So I guess enjoy the calmer conditions as they move in before the next storm cycle rolls into the neighborhood. All right, looking at the jet stream forecast. So here's the winds at 30,000 feet jet stream level, and I'm looking for the brighter colors, the oranges and the reds, the tans, and that's what's really guiding these storm systems around. So what we'll do is we'll start at about lunchtime today with this forecast. And I'll roll this ahead. Here we are by late today. You can see the next front or storm system sliding through California into the interior. All these preceding the larger storm are all pretty small. So here we go. There's early on Monday, February 10th. There is late on the 10th. Storm system kind of moving through the interior. There's one to the north. There's also one across the southern tier. Here's midday on the 11th. Here is the 12th, and you've got a storm system right here across Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, kind of brushing Utah and parts of Colorado into the 12th. Here we are late on the 12th. All right, so here comes the largest storm system of this cycle. So this is late on the 13th. There's early on the 14th. You can see the sizable trough moving into the west, the Sierra, the Pacific Northwest, Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Montana, Colorado. But look how far south it's digging. So this is going to favor areas that are a little further to the south. So it doesn't quite put the Tetons into the bullseye. It's more so Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. But watch it move through. Here's late on the 14th. There's midday on the 15th. Now, again, all these become storm systems for the Midwest, the East Coast, and the Northeast. All right, there's 16th. And here comes another pinch in the jet. This is the 17th. Some activity rolling through the northern tier. There's lunchtime on the 18th. This one digs a little further down south through Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, and Colorado. So the pattern stays active. I mean, that's the bottom line with what I'm showing you here. Here's snow accumulation over time. So the light blues are going to be under 3 inches of accumulation. Greens are 3 to 6, yellows are 6 plus, and if you see red there, that's going to be 10 plus. So we'll start at lunchtime today. You've got some snow up in the northeast. That's going to be moving out. All right, so some light activity, Montana, Wyoming. This is late on Monday, February 10th, sliding down the front range of Colorado, late Monday into early Tuesday, February 11th. Very light. But that activity, that energy does turn into another storm system for the Midwest. And here comes another front running down through Wyoming and Colorado. This is early on Wednesday, February 12th. So there's a series of small storm systems preceding the larger one here. And that turns into a storm system for the Great Lakes, the Midwest, and the Northeast. And that's lunchtime on Thursday, February 13th. Now, here comes our larger storm in the west. Look at the Sierra starting to get nailed. The red's starting to show up. This is late on the 13th. There's early on the 14th, so Valentine's Day. Now, that storm takes that track into Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico, puts the Tetons on the very north side. But heavy accumulations in western and southwest Colorado, Arizona Snow Bowl, Tahoe is going to get a lot of snow. Wolf Creek, Colorado. Here's late on the 14th. There's early on the 15th. Storm still moving through. And guess what happens to it? It becomes a storm system for the Midwest, the East Coast, and the Northeast. And that's got some appreciable snow. Look at that. A lot of yellows and reds up there in the Northeast showing up with that. And that moves through. So here is late on the 16th, Sunday the 16th. Here's early on the 17th. The next storm system rolls into the northern tier, and that one dives down. Here's early on the 18th into parts of Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. Okay, here's my forecast. So all of today through the 16th, we'll start in the Wasatch. Not much has changed here. 1 to 2 feet of accumulation. 10 to 20 inches, 1 to 2 feet, we'll call it for the Tetons. Your snow is spread out over time. Um, Look at southern Utah. Brian had 16. I've got 2 feet down at Snowbowl. In the Sierra, 1 to 3 feet of accumulation from Shasta to Tahoe down to Mammoth. The Pacific Northwest, again, it's a pretty long dry stretch with your snow coming very late in the period. You can see the numbers there. Pretty light through interior BC, although they'll start going up quickly around the 16th, 17th. So just beyond the scope of this forecast. Montana, anywhere from 3 to 6 inches. In Colorado, I've got 1 to 2 feet generally. There will be areas that push 3 feet around the West Elks, the southwest Colorado mountains, the San Juans, Wolf Creek. Those areas will push 3 feet. And looking at 1 to 2 feet down through northern New Mexico. So a good period there. In the Northeast, again, the pattern's loaded with 1 to 2 feet of accumulation, about a foot there through Massachusetts, a couple of feet up in the parts of New York State, 1 to 2 feet Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, and that runs through the 16th. So looking really good there. All right, guys, we'll end on the big western map here through the 16th. We're still looking good with a couple of small fronts and a pretty large storm system around the 14th, 15th, somewhere right in there. And we could be looking at feet of grand total accumulation. Thanks for tuning in here. Always appreciate it. Take care and have a great day.